Welcome to the Bright Ideas Podcast.
Hey, Mark, welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Nice to meet you, Trent, and thanks for having me on the show.
No problem at all. So let's talk about this clever little idea that you have for coming up with new product ideas that has something to do with the patent office. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been an Amazon seller for the better part of 5 years. And a few years ago, I was trying to figure out, what I could do that might be a little bit different that I didn't think other people might be doing, or at least I wasn't aware of it if they were. And one of the things I sort of tripped across was sort of this idea of finding products with expired patents and then basically recreating my own version. And the way it kind of came about was I basically tripped across this product, which was made by a company called Kids Fly Safe, which was a kind of a safety harness for kids on airplanes.
Yep.
And the price was just outrageously high for what it was, which was basically a glorified seatbelt. And so it just made me kind of curious, why were they charging $80 for this little seatbelt thing? And so I just out of curiosity, I started researching the product, and the first thing I did is I found basically the exact same product on Alibaba for $5. So I was like, how is it that this thing is selling for $80? And I thought, well, I wonder if there's IP on this, intellectual property, that is. Mm-hmm. And I pretty quickly found the patent at the U.S. Patent Office and looked at, and the first thing I noticed was, oh, this is interesting. The patent has expired, and but it only expired relatively recently. So what I realized pretty quickly was that the reason they could charge, $80 for this thing that you could get for $5, really had to do with the fact that people didn't realize that the patent had expired and that they were able to charge a premium for it. And I thought, oh, well, what if I go find products with expired patents and then start competing with them? I could charge a lower price and still make a very nice profit at the same time. And so that's kind of what I started doing and looking at. And believe it or not, I just kept on finding more and more products like this. It wasn't that hard to find. And one of the, I'm sorry, go on, Trent.
No, I was just going to ask you. So let's unpack this and make sure that the audience is able to replicate what you've done. So first off, tell me how, when you started to research this product, how did you find it on the Patent Office website?
Well, like most websites, the Patent Office website has a search function. Now, I honestly, it's not a great search function. It's a government site, so they don't really make usability a big factor in it. But if you kind of dig enough, you can basically set it for a way to search it so that you're only going to get those things with expired patents. And just by way of background for your audience, typically patents, or I should say utility patents, which are a patent on the way something works, they typically go for 20 years. And design patents are usually last something like 15 years. Mm-hmm. So all you really have to do in the search is go back, 20 years or more to find those patents with expired patents, or 15 or 16 years or more for design patents. So it's not that complicated to find. But the trick then is you find these interesting expired patents and you kind of sort through them. And then what you do is you go back to Amazon and you sort of try and find the products that basically match those expired patents. And that's what I did, is I started to do that.
Okay. So once you do that, you've identified, okay, so this product on Amazon that's seemingly selling quite well based upon the number of reviews and so forth. Yeah. And it sure looks like it's the same product that now there's an expired patent. So there's an opportunity for you. What do you do next?
Well, then you just go into research mode. So you first look at the, kind of do your research on the product, just like I did with the kids' safety harness,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of say, okay, are they charging a premium for it? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is, yeah, they are charging a premium for it because they have the patent. And then I usually go to Alibaba or other sites or other suppliers and see kind of what that kind of product might be available for in the marketplace. And then if I think it makes sense generally as something I want to do, I pull the trigger. So I actually wrote a book that talks about this, and I actually include in there a number of products that I saw that have fallen off patent. So one of them was a kind of a sun hat for kids that was developed by a company called Sunday Afternoons, and basically, it sells for roughly $25 on Amazon. And basically, again, it's available on Alibaba for, I don't know, certainly less than $5. And I saw that the patent had expired, so I talk about that. There's another one that I sort of came across, which I was amazed how well it sold at what price one, which was the Bottom Buddy, which was basically so it's a device that makes you wipe your behind more easily if you're overweight or handicapped in some fashion. And I looked and it sells for like I think it's probably $50 or $60. And again, found the patent had expired, and the actual price of that again is something less than $5. So. So I could probably offer that kind of product instead of $50. I could probably offer it at something less than maybe 30 or 40, and still make a healthy profit on it without violating anybody's IP.